You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I had a feeling deep inside, and you know the reason why. Why never again I can trust you? Cause you told me not to worry about the person you booed over now. Now you got me stuck with trust issues. Now I'm easy to giving up. It ain't easier for the next that's tryna heal my core, tryna show me more, tryna love me more. You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I think it's funny how in the beginning you used to carry me forever, but I guess forever just means temporary. Temporary just allow you to hurt me, cause you're doing surgery. You hurting me, you irking me, cause everybody love me. Your daddy, your granny, still cousins and nannies, there's so many. It was the whole family, yeah. And don't forget the others, all your friends and all your brothers, especially your mother, but you chose love. You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. 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 You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I had a feeling deep inside, and you know the reason why. Why never again I can trust you? Cause you told me not to worry about the person you booed over now. Now you got me stuck with trust issues. Now I'm easy to giving up. It ain't easier for the next that's tryna heal my core, tryna show me more, tryna love me more. You got me wondering how made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. And I just need...
What's up, guys? Tonight on the RAVEstream, we're going to talk a little bit about Super Bowl Sunday. We're going to find out exactly what's inside this football after we watch some videos with the hardest hits in football. And then we're going to do a lesson on meeting the markers that God has laid out for you when it comes to keeping the pace. Now I'm going to hit that light. I gotta go get that. What's up, guys? Welcome to the RAVEstream. We've got a new purple background to go with my maroon purplish shirt. Biggest news here. Yes, I know, before you all say it, I am hatless, okay? My wife has my hat. I will show you. Hold on.
It's okay. We'll take your word for it.
Oh, no. I'm going to show you. There's my wife wearing my hat. It was in the laundry pile, and I did not know where it was. And so she has my hat. I have this ratty one, but it kind of clashes with the outfit. And so if you guys are too creeped out by the fact that I don't have a hat on, I will put a hat on. But I thought I'd go without it. It's a new look. So welcome to the RAVEstream. Super excited you guys are here. Announcements. Let's move this guy. Nobody has weighed in on who these guys are. If you do and you get them right, you get all of them right, I'll give you a gift card. But if you don't know who they are, I will give you a hint about this guy. Let's see. No, I won't give you a hint. This is a superhero. I will give you that. But that's not the superhero. That is his secret identity. So, this guy's from horror movie. And this guy is from a comedy. So, anyway, yes, I already owe you a gift card, Christopher. I am well aware. But, I tell you what, you come to the Super Bowl party, I will bring it to you. Anyway, speaking of that, announcements, Super Bowl party is this Sunday at 5 o'clock. The Super Bowl starts at 5:30. We're going to do all this in the gym. We will have gift cards for whoever gets the score prediction closest at halftime and whoever gets the score prediction the closest at the end of the game. If you are a college student, you are also invited. What else am I forgetting?
Bring a good attitude and be prepared for one of the teams to win.
I like that. I like that.
That's pretty much all you can add.
Good advice. Good advice. Also, we have started classes back. So Sunday morning, 9 o'clock in the teen room, you can be here for class. We're looking at stories about the little guy. We're looking at different stories of people that you may not know much about, and we're going to kind of compare and contrast what they did well, what they didn't do well, and how they followed God's message or not. And so come and be prepared for that. I know a lot of you guys are in quarantine right now, and that really stinks because there's been a lot of people exposed to the virus. And so, but
if you can come,
if you can come. We'll be here. Yeah, it was just me and Daniel and Michael and Fallon on Sunday, and we talked and fellowshipped and cried because you were all missing.
It's all your fault.
Okay. Retreat. You saw the announcement in the scrolling announcements during the countdown. Spring retreat is March 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's coming up quicker than you think. So it's moved up a little bit, which is great because we're not doing Winterfest this year. So we get a trip a little sooner than usual, and we may try to do something in near the end of April to kind of make up for some of the stuff that we're not getting to do. So we'll just kind of have to play it by ear. Yes, that's right, Allie. The whole village gets it. But we miss you guys. How many more days do you have in quarantine?
She said she was done.
I'm guessing.
In the chat, she said she tested negative, so she was out.
Oh, nice.
I don't know about Coons and Nance's.
I'm guessing. Well, I mean, some of them tested positive, so it's 14 days.
Yeah.
But 14 days was a week from Monday.
I reckon probably.
So
probably the way.
Maybe over the weekend sometime. So we may see some folks here. That'd be great. Like I said, don't forget about the Super Bowl party. There's, we're not doing a ton of stuff. So when we do have an activity, if you can make it, please show up. That way we get some time together. Because unless you guys are studying and staying in the Word on your own, and I know that's really hard, unless you're doing that, we need this time together, and I hope you will make time for it. So, couple of things coming up after our announcements here. Michael doesn't even know we're doing this because I kind of came up with the idea while he was doing class today. But before our lesson, in honor of Super Bowl week, I thought it would be cool to watch, to do a couple of things. One, we are going to find out what is inside this football. Oh, look, it's green, so it's like, that's awesome. So you can see the background through it because these pieces are green. That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
That is kind of cool.
That's cool.
It gives it like a purplish, just sort of.
That's cool.
Flare on it.
I was like, why can you see through it? That's awesome. Anyway, but I was going to use a regular pigskin football, but the inside looks like the outside of one of those. There's some sealant on it. There's nothing really unique about it. But how many of you guys have cut open a Nerf football? We're going to find out what's inside this Nerf football.
We like our footballs working.
We're going to find out what's inside this Nerf football. But while I cut this thing up, because we're not going to sit here and watch me do it, especially if I cut myself, I don't want to be bleeding on live television. So while I do this, you guys are going to watch 4 minutes worth of the most awesome hits in NFL history. So take it away, Michael.
All right.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. E-double-L, I said so. I keep big bills up in my hood on the dirty like Bledsoe. Ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful. And I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full. I'm in it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, young blood, but we ain't kin. You think of jumping, man, you best think again. The dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for revenge. Had some not so nice friends, kick the door off the hinge. Take the door off your bins, pop up my four of your friends. Man, please, this shit ain't cynical. Nano subliminal, I'm physical, financial, and mental to be a general. Hey, the mama claims she want a soldier. Not the type be in the tank, but in that rover. Man, please, I'm in the zone like AIDS full blown. I'm killing it like a blind man reading. I'm feeling it like, oh yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. He think he got her when he know he's off his butter. He ain't never been a fighter. You can go and ask his mother. I'm a lover and a fighter. Producer and a writer. Give your girl a quick fix and give your man a nice shiner. You know y'all don't really want it. And I can tell just by looking at you that you the type to run and go and tell just by looking at you. You on a mission for recognition by dissing. Didn't have no problem till the record started breaking. But y'all don't really want it. So let me tell you the deal. I'm also serious. I'm dirty. I'm no longer for real. I'm like a hop, skip, and a jump. A clock grip on the pump. From leaving you in the trunk. Somewhere prepared to jump. But y'all don't really want it. So quit acting like you're deaf. I'm looking to my right. Trying to see who's left. So you better watch it before I stick to the plan. And be the next artist to run up in your stand. Like, yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, here comes the. as scared as a nigga can be. It's gon' sound like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming for ya. It's gon' sound like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming, like when I come for ya. It's gon' sound like here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it now. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it now. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it now. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it now.
Awesome. My favorite one was the little kid. There's all these NFL scenes and college scenes, and then there's this one shot of this peewee football kid just laying this other kid out. So we have cut through the football, but we're going to do a mellow moment because the sound of this is really fantastic. So I'm going to move the microphone down that you can't see, and we're going to move it over.
And now it's time for a mellow moment.
An unexpected mellow moment because check this out. Listen, you ready? Here we go.
Oh yeah, they can hear that.
It's very satisfying. Okay,
It is.
got it. All right. That was your mellow moment. I'm going to move this back up.
By the way, to the Bells who commented on
Oh, yes.
characters on the desk, you got one wrong.
We're not going to tell you which
I'm not gonna
one.
Tell you which one, but you got one.
You got one wrong. Good job. You got close. One wrong. Okay. So,
Let's see what
the inside of this Nerf football. Are you ready? Here we go. I did not expect it to be blue.
Really?
I didn't. I thought maybe the outside was painted or dyed or something, and that the inside, like, it might be a little blue around here, but like the inside would be like some other kind of foam. But apparently they dye the whole lot of foam, which is crazy. That's interesting. So we'll leave that here somewhere.
Toss me half a football.
Can we,
All right,
which way?
I'm gonna chuck it over the microphone. You ready?
Oh no!
No, it missed.
You can hold it like this, and it looks like you're actually
Yeah, you can.
you're like you got hit with it. I don't know. It doesn't look good. That maybe like that. There we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh! It's
Oh
inside me.
no! Oh, I lost it. Okay. Well, that's gone. We're gonna get the knife out of the way. That way, if anybody is just now tuning in, they won't go, "What's that knife doing out there?" So,
Next week, watch as we shoot a gun into a dodgeball. No, kidding. We won't do that.
we could do that.
We could. That would be kind of fun.
I have a hunting rifle. We could do that. So, our lesson series, we've been talking about keeping pace. PACE stands for persistent and consistent effort. When it comes to our spiritual lives, we've been talking about, last semester we talked about, or last season, whatever you want to call it, we talked about the idea that you have to have a strong foundation, that you can't, you shouldn't build your spiritual life based on other people's foundations, other people's ideas, that you need to learn what you believe for yourself. And so this idea of keeping pace builds on that, in that once you have a foundation, once you've built a spiritual life, how do you maintain it? And so we've looked at stories like about Lot, where Lot and Abram go their separate ways, and Lot pitches his tent towards the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And then later you find out that he's not living outside the cities or near them. He's living in those cities, surrounded by people that are doing all kinds of horrible things and living godless lives. And he's not trying to reach those people. He's just a part of it. He may not be doing any of those things, but he's not helping to bring those people to God at all. And so we talked about the Israelites in the desert when they were wandering and they were given manna to eat, and how they didn't trust God. They couldn't see past their own fears and worries, and how they were looking at the little picture and only worried about, well, I trust God enough to give me what I've got today, but I don't trust him for tomorrow. I can only trust him as far as I can see, rather than believing in God the way that he wants us to believe in him. And so a lot of these things you're going to see are about adjusting our gaze, adjusting our vision, and changing our perspective. When you're running a race, you have to face the direction that you want to go. Okay? It's very difficult to run an effective race if you're looking the wrong direction, if you're looking behind you. You need to be focused on where you're going. And the lesson tonight is going to be a little bit different from that, but I wanted to read a section of scripture and just give you an idea. We might have a really short Devo this evening, but I wanted to read this verse. It's from Hebrews chapter 12. It talks about running the race, but I want us to look at a specific little part of it and think it through. So put Hebrews 12 up there.
Right, scoot a little bit this way.
Oh yeah, it's a big one, isn't it?
It's a big one.
I'm going to move this way. There we go.
Yeah, that should do it.
Right there. That'll get me.
Let's do some fancy bar swipes.
Oh yeah. Oh, there it is. Nice. Okay, so check this out. Hebrews chapter 12. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out before us, fixing our eyes on Jesus. There's that vision portion, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. There's a whole bunch of things in here, but I want us to look at one little section of this. We're surrounded. Look at the top. We're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. Throw off everything that hinders. That's that idea of maintaining your foundation and building a spiritual life with godly things. But how do you keep that strong? It says, run with perseverance. You got to keep on. Okay, that's keeping pace. It says, instead of saying, and let us run with perseverance, it says, and let us keep pace on the race. And here's the part I want us to look at. The race marked out for us. So let's think through that idea real quick. Pull that verse off there so we got some room to work with, Michael. And that way I don't have all this stuff on here. And we'll come back to it. The race marked out. What that means, I think about if you actually go to run a race. When you go and run a race, the track is already made out. Okay, whether it's a NASCAR race, whether it's a bicycle race, whether it's a running race, the track has already been marked out. Okay, what does that mean? Let me give you a second to think about it. What does it mean that the racetrack is already marked out? It means that somebody has been out there before the race even started, that they designed the race, okay? It's not enough to just say, hey, there's a race, go run it. But the race has been designed, and whoever designed that race knows every turn. They marked it out, okay? That doesn't mean they just went out and put out cones. A marked out race means if you're running a 5K, somebody marked out that distance. They know exactly how far it is. They know that it is exactly 5K, okay? I did a 100-mile bike ride years ago, and every mile or two, there was a spray-painted logo on the road, or there were, every 10 miles, there were little booths set up where you could get some food, or you could stretch, you could go to the bathroom. Those are really necessary. In addition to that, there was also a car driving up and down that track. and this track went from Madison County High School all the way through Hampton Cove, all the way through Woodville, up a mountain, into Tennessee, and then back through Newmarket, all the way back to Madison County High School. 100 miles somebody had to mark out. That takes a long, long time. Now imagine your life. Imagine 80, 90 years of a life. Don't even imagine that far. Just think through all the things you've done in 14, 15, 16 years thus far. The places you've been, the people you've met, the things you've done, the things you've seen, the movies you've watched, the books you've read, the times you sat in a class, the number of teachers you've had, all the things and places you've done and gone. God has marked that out. It means that God has gone there ahead of you. God has a path for you. You're going in a particular direction. Are you veering off that path? If you veer off the path, you don't win the race. And usually the path is well worn because the person that made the path knows that they've chosen the right amount of obstacles. They've avoided other obstacles. And if you get off the path, sometimes the race gets a lot harder. I don't know how many of you guys have ever hiked at Montesano. Some of the trails are pretty hard. They're uphill. There are a lot of switchbacks. But if you were to, the switchbacks are pretty grueling on their own. But if you were to just go straight up the mountain or straight down the mountain, you're like going through brush. You're going through sticks, limbs, all kinds of things that can hurt you. It's a lot harder than sticking to the path. And I think a lot of times we get bored with the idea of a path, right? We don't want to go on a path because we think, well, somebody's already done it and it's not as interesting as what you can find if you go off the path. Okay, all you Robert Frost fans, the road less traveled. Sure, we're talking about two different ideas here, okay? One is about being unique and not going with the flow just because somebody tells you to go with the flow. That's last season. We talked about building a strong foundation for yourself and what you believe. But just because you believe in God doesn't mean that God wants you to be like everybody else. God wants you to be unique. He has marked out a path specifically for you. And that path may go through whatever high school you're in. It definitely goes through whatever family you're in. It goes through this church family, okay? A lot of you guys have been at Central less time than I have. I've been here almost 15 years. And some of you weren't born when I got here, which means my path to Central has been longer than yours. But my path to Central went through Florence, Alabama. It went through Oklahoma. It went through Searcy, Arkansas, where I went to college. My path to get here started in Huntsville, but it left and it came back. Your path includes Huntsville. Your path includes a relationship with everybody in this youth group. But I want you to ask yourself, are you following a path that God has marked out for you? And how do you know that the markers that you're finding on your path are godly markers and they're not put there by something else? That's a big deal. Go back to that verse, Michael. This is where we're gonna kind of wrap this up. So we want to follow a path. We want to follow markers that God has given us. How do we know that they're godly markers? How do we know that we're on God's path rather than another path? So check this out. We're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. Throw off the things that hinder you. That doesn't just mean sin. How do I know? Because he then says, and the sin that so easily entangles. So throw off everything that hinders. We'll do it over here. Everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangle. Both of those things. And then keep the pace. Persevere. Keep going on the race marked out for you. How do you know that you're on the race marked out for you? Fix your eyes on Jesus. And I like that this version of it says the pioneer of our faith. the pioneer of our faith. Think about that. If you read in history about pioneers, guys like Lewis and Clark, these guys that were the first ones to find a path to certain areas. Here's a trivia question for you, Michael, because I can't remember the guy's name. Actually, I remember his name now. Do you know the name of the guy that went up?
Pikes Peak?
No, the first guy that went up. That's a good one. We'll come back to that one though. The first guy that went up Mount Everest. Does anybody know?
Ooh.
Who's the first guy that went up Mount Everest?
I'll do you one better and ask you what's the name of the first dog that went into space? Because I do know that.
Oh, I should know that.
Yeah.
He's Russian.
Mm-hmm. Russian dog. And I believe it's a she.
Oh, I don't know. I know the name of one of the first monkeys.
Laika.
Oh, yeah. Laika.
Yeah.
Because there's a production company named after it, yeah.
Yeah.
The first monkey in space, one of the first monkeys in space.
Wasn't that the one that died here?
They buried it here at the Space and Rocket Center.
I knew I heard that.
It's to the right as you go in the front gate.
I don't know who it is, though.
Miss Bobo.
Oh, Miss Bobo.
We're talking about all these firsts. So this is a little bit of a trick question. The first guy, if you look on Wikipedia, the first guy up Mount Everest, his name is Sir Edmund Hillary. However, he is not the first guy up there because he hired a Sherpa. He hired a guy from the area to go with him, to take him up there. So the Sherpa is a guy that guides you up the mountain, up the path. His Sherpa's name was Tenzing Norgay.
Well, I mean, if it's Sherpa's guy,
and he, what's really cool is in our culture today, Wikipedia makes sure to give credit to both men because they both went up there. For a long time, it was just Edmund Hillary. Nobody knew who the other guy was. Pikes Peak, the first guy to climb Pikes Peak, who?
Solomon Pike? I wanna say
No.
Solomon.
Here's the cool thing. Pikes, his name's Zebulon Pike.
Zebulon, I knew
But
it was something like
he did not climb Pikes Peak. He found it. He was a pioneer. He was going through the area. He found it. And his quote was, "No one will ever be able to make it to the top of that mountain." And now you can drive up there.
That's fun.
I think that's awesome. Guys, you never know what's going to happen or how far you can get. And if you look at a mountain and say, nobody's ever going to be able to do that, and you don't even give it a try, think about that idea. Whenever the Hebrew writer says, fix your eyes on Jesus. What does it mean to fix your eyes on Jesus? Learn about him through his word. Learn about him through your brothers and sisters in Christ who have experienced him in different ways. Talk to him through prayer. Even if you're not 100% sold on the idea of prayer, learn from him. I mean, learn how to pray. That's what I mean. When you pray, talk like you're just working stuff out. Because a relationship is only as strong as the connection you make. And you have to make that connection. You have to talk to God, and you have to let him talk to you. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. I would even go so far as to say, put God's word to the test. If it says do something, go try it. If it works, come back and see why. If it doesn't work, go back and see why. A lot of times people pray, and they don't get the answer they want, so they quit praying. They stop following the path of God. They stop following those markers. They started fixing their eyes on God, but they prayed for something, and they didn't get the answer they wanted, and so they stopped. They stopped looking at God's markers and started looking at their own. Well, I thought it would do this. I thought it would do that. There's a really cool story in the Old Testament about this guy that's going to be healed. That he wants to be healed, actually, well, there's one in the Old Testament. There's also one in the New Testament too. And bonus, I'm not going to go for either one of them, but bonus points if you can tell me which one it is. But there are a couple of examples of people in the Bible who wanted to be healed, and Jesus or a prophet or somebody would offer to heal them or heal them in a certain way, and they get frustrated. I thought they would do this, and I thought they would do that. Well, I'm not going to go do that. That seems weird. And some of them did it, and some of them didn't. And the ones that did it, the ones that followed the path that God marked out for them, were healed, and the ones that didn't weren't. Okay? Another little side note. God will bless you. Even if, there you go, there's one of them, Naaman. Allie got one of them. God will bless you, even if you don't follow him. Now that's hard to swallow. It doesn't mean you're going to get all the rewards of being a follower of Jesus, but it does mean you'll get some of them. I want you to think about the 10 lepers that Jesus healed. Jesus healed 10 lepers. Only one of them came back and thanked him for it. One of them thought enough of his healing to fix his eyes on Jesus. Nobody else could do that. I need to follow this man. The other 9 went along their merry way. Jesus didn't reverse their healing. He let them keep it. You can very well be blessed by God and not have your eyes fixed on him. Okay? I believe that God created everything that ever has been and ever will be. I believe that God is the reason that I'm breathing right now, because he provides the sun and the rain and the air that's in my lungs and all those different things. I believe that even people who don't believe in Jesus are being blessed by God because they're alive. And they don't believe that, but they're still being blessed by God's creation, because God desperately wants them to find his path. He's put things out there. His word says that if his people stop praising him, the rocks will cry out, because everything belongs to God, and God has placed paths out there. He's placed markers for us to find him. Okay? Put that verse back up one more time. We're gonna end on this. He says, fix your eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of your faith. Not just the author of your faith, but he perfects it. He makes it perfect. He plucks out the things that don't work, and he puts in things that do. The perfecter of your faith. It says, why? Why does he do this? How can you trust him? Because the joy set before him. It's talking about God's path now. It's talking about Jesus' path. The path that God laid out for him was a joy. Your path is a joy. That actually makes sense if you go to the book of James, and it says, consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds. That's not an accident, okay? Jesus was joyful about the path that he was on. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross. Are you going to have to endure some tough things? Absolutely. He scorned its shame, meaning he made something that was shameful, that should have been shameful, glorious. All right? If you ask anybody what the cross represents, the cross represents death. The cross is an instrument of death. We don't wear crosses as necklaces or jewelry or put them up in our churches because we want to be reminded of death. Oh, thank you for this death. We want to be reminded of the hope, not just the sacrifice on the cross, Jesus' death, but the hope that death represents, right? The hope that is built on that death. He turned something that is a shameful instrument of death for a criminal, and he turned it into something glorious, to the point that some of his apostles were crucified on crosses, and they were happy about it because they said, I'm dying the way that my Lord and Savior died. That's crazy. They endured it, scorned its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured these things from sinners. Why? So that you will not lose heart or grow weary. To me, that sounds like keeping pace with somebody. If I can run step by step with somebody that's faster than me, that gives me hope. That gives me strength. If I can stay with that person, that helps. And I go, I'm not going to lose heart. I'm not going to grow weary. When it comes to fixing your eyes on Jesus, the more you know about his sacrifice, the more you learn about who he is and why he did what he did, the easier it's going to be to focus on him. It says, consider him. Don't just, hey, remember that thing that happened? Remember Jesus? No. Consider him. I would use the word meditate on it, ponder it, let it become part of you. I don't know how many of you guys love Marvel movies or Marvel TV shows, or if you're watching WandaVision right now, your ears are probably bleeding from just the weirdness going on in it. But people will ponder those shows. They'll ponder those movies. You know, you can look at articles and, did they just tease this villain? Is that an Easter egg? Is that a this thing? People will look through those things frame by frame and go, oh, I wonder if they did this. I wonder if they did that. They're pondering. They're considering what's in front of them. Do that with God. Look at God's word and go, what's he trying to tell me? What's he trying to tell the people he's writing to? And what does that have to do with me? Consider him so that you will not lose heart. You'll not grow weary, so that you can fix your eyes on God, so you can run the race marked out for you. You could read those verses forwards or backwards and they'll make sense. Consider him who endured opposition so you won't grow weary and lose heart. The one who scorned, went to the cross, endured it, scorned its shame for the joy set before him. The race marked out before you. Like, you could read it the other direction. It makes sense that way too, because we do these things because he did those things, and he did those things so that we'll do these things. There's a reason that we're supposed to live out a sacrifice each and every day, not just once, but each day is a new opportunity to focus on Christ. And maybe you can't do that yet. Maybe you're going to have to do it hour by hour. Hey, let me just make it through first period. Let me just make it through breakfast. Whatever you got to do to focus on God. Look in his word for those markers. Look for people in your life that are godly influences. Those are some markers.
Because there's definitely influence there's definitely emphasis when it comes to running with people. If any of y'all have ever seen, the world record was set recently for marathon. Like, some guy from some country in Africa got the world record. He got the first under 2 hours marathon, which, for those of you that aren't aware of how long marathons are, to do it in under 2 hours, you have to be going at near full sprint speed for most teenagers for 2 hours to be able to set that record. And he didn't do it on his own. He had, I think they were called pace runners that ran along with him and set the pace. And they couldn't keep up with them, so they had to substitute out pace runners. Yep. They had to bring in new guys. But he wasn't going to run that entire race all by himself, because they needed others to set the pace and say, hey, this is how fast we're going. This is where we're going. Stick with us. Yep. And so I think there's a big, the metaphor really works for the running. Is it metaphor or analogy? I don't know.
Metaphor. Analogies are analogy, metaphor, both of those work.
Yeah, both of those work. Point is, there's certainly emphasis put upon don't do this by yourself. Because if you do, not only is it going to be a lot tougher, you've got a much lower percentage of success, because you don't have people saying, okay, no, this is the route. It's like trying to go to a new place without a GPS. Yep.
Absolutely. Think about that. Ponder that. Consider that. Love you guys. Glad you guys stuck with us. There's a lot of comments tonight. Super excited about it. Hope to see you guys for class on Sunday morning at 9. Hope to see you guys at the Super Bowl party, 5 o'clock here at the building Sunday evening. You don't have to bring anything. There's no cost. We're going to have pizza. We're going to have some candy, snacks, other things. And we'll have tables set up, spread out in the gym, and we'll watch the game in there on the big screen. So class at 9 o'clock, Super Bowl party at 5 p.m., and we'll go till probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest. But really looking forward to that. Hope to see you guys. If you have any questions or comments, you can add them down below, or you can message me, Rodney at centralfamily.org, or just look me up there. There it is. Lindsay Bell.
They got it.
Yeah, there it is.
GG, they got
So,
the last one.
They got it. So the Bells are going to get a gift card. They figured it out. I'm sure Mom helped them with this one. So you'll see I did not pull him out all the way because his name is on the bottom of his thing. So this, we'll go through this all the way. He-Man, Battle Cat, Groot, obviously, Baby Groot, whatever. This is 11, or Jane. I appreciated that you got her name as well. This is Matt Murdock, also known as Daredevil. This is Tommy Boy from the movie Tommy Boy, played by Chris Farley.
Of course it was played by Chris Farley.
Side note, if you ever watched 50... Ketchup Popsicles. I love that. There's lots of good lines. It's got to be your bull. If you watch 50 First Dates, which I watched the other night, the characters go to this hospital on the island of Hawaii, and it's called the Callahan Institute. Okay, his name is Tommy Boy Callahan. Tommy Callahan. He's Tommy Callahan the third or whatever, but they all call him Tommy Boy. In 50 First Dates, the Callahan Institute, one of the doctors said, we're funded by T.B. Callahan out of Sandusky, Ohio.
That's funny.
T.B. Callahan.
That's a nice reference.
Thought that was very cool. Anyway,
and then the last person all the way on the far right.
This is there is a story with this guy. Oh no! Oh yeah, I glued him on there so it wouldn't fall off. His name is Ashley Williams. This guy does have a chainsaw for a hand. This is a character from a series of horror movies called Evil Dead. Not as scary and creepy as you think it is. If you look up Evil Dead, don't look up the 2015 version, 2013 version. That one's good too, but it is rated R and very creepy. I think it's fantastic, but your parents may not. So, the original one is so awful it's funny, but they made Evil Dead, and this guy, it's what his character looks like in Evil Dead 2. Now, you're going to get a lot more of this than you wanted. Evil Dead 2 is actually a remake of Evil Dead 1 because Evil Dead was purchased by Sony, so they own the rights to it. And when he wanted to do a sequel with another company, they wouldn't sell him the right. They wouldn't sell the director the rights back. The director, Sam Raimi, who did the first 3 Spider-Man movies, so like the ones with Tobey Maguire.
You mean the 2 good ones and then the horrible one?
Yes. They wouldn't sell him the rights back, so he made Evil Dead 2, where this guy comes back to life and basically does everything he did in the last movie over again, except his hand gets possessed and he cuts it off, and then to fight evil, he attaches a chainsaw to it because he needs a weapon.
Nice.
It's rather interesting. And then to defeat evil, he reads from this like spell book, and it opens up a portal that sucks the evil in, but it also sucks him in as well, and it sends him into the past, into medieval times, and then that's where you get the movie Army of Darkness, which is so ridiculous it's funny as well. And he has all of these things in that one as well.
Crossover between Monty Python and Army of Darkness.
Oh my gosh, it would be so ridiculous. That movie is
That would be excellent.
bonkers. But, so, side note, when Siobhan and I were coming up with names for our youngest, we wanted Bible names, and we started looking through. I liked Josiah, but we didn't want to name him, his first name to be Josiah. So his middle name is Josiah because I like the child king, Josiah. I like that story. But we started looking at different Bible names and tribes of Judah, and we came on Asher, and we really liked Asher. I asked her if I could call him Ash as a nickname, and because we were kind of thinking about like, well, what are people going to nickname him? You know, what are they going to call him? I asked if I could call him Ash. I call him Ash because that guy. So,
Nice.
anyway, so yes, the Bells will get a gift card. I'll try to get it to you. If you come to the Super Bowl party, I'll give it to you there. If I see you Sunday morning, I'll give it to you there. But
No. So you'll just give it to them if they come to the Super Bowl.
yeah,
No Sunday morning. You gotta come.
Michael has spoken. Anyway.
Duke of York has spoken.
Like I said, Super Bowl party, 5 o'clock, Sunday night. Glad somebody got that. That's exciting. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you on Sunday.
See ya.